Hello, I'm Matt Yedlin, and I'm here to share with you the exciting adventure that I've had with the fantastic team here at UBC Studios. And I want to carry you along the journey of how to use this Lighboard to help you present different ideas, concepts, and implementations of video and graphics to enhance your course development. Welcome to the first part of this instructional video. It's about presentation. Presentation consists of two steps: preparing the presenter, that's of course me in this case, and preparing the Lighboard on my right. So I came with the idea of wearing this red t-shirt, and you can see that it says Smart T-shirt here. I thought I was very smart. However, if I look at the real camera that's going to take my recording in front of the Lighboard, everything is mirrored. So the Smart T-shirt is unreadable, it's backwards. That gives us the first point for when we present behind the Lighboard. No writing, no logos. Now, the other thing is this. This doesn't look very nice at all. We want to hide it. So what we do is we put a shirt on top. And in so doing, we hide the wire. Also, in real life, we will clip the microphone to the right lapel, as that makes it quite easy to do a sound calibration. One further point is color. The color of the top that you wear shouldn't be bright, have a zebra pattern, which would be really bizarre, or a color like this. These are the green cloths that we use to wipe the Lighboard from the writing using the neon pens. You can see this would be pretty hard to watch. You can see it on the video that we're recording. So none of this, that's out. So that's all we have to do before we start recording in terms of our person. Now we're going to do step 2, which is preparing the Lighboard usage itself. There are 3 things that we have to consider. First of all, where are the borders of the Lighboard? Secondly, what kind of partition of the Lighboard are we going to use for our writing and our face, our presentation? And thirdly, what color pen are we going to use? Because we have many choices of pens. Let's begin with the borders. I'm going to use this pen as a marker. I'm going to use it horizontally, and we'll look at the top border first. There's my pen. I can see it very well. And as I move it up, and right about there, you can't see the pen anymore. And so we go over here, and we can see there's a marker that says you can't write above this marker. It will get clipped. You won't see it. Look at the bottom now. Same idea. If I come to the bottom, the farthest I can go is there. And it continues up at the top on each left and right. It's really important to keep these markers in mind. I can't tell you how many times I've started writing and had to erase and wipe it clean and then start again. So the first step is borders. Now we're going to talk about layout. The layout involves me and stuff that I'm going to write. So normally we want to have the face not connected with the writing. Sometimes you can't avoid it, but most of the time we don't want to have anything in front of our face. So a good suggestion is about this much, and I'm just going to draw a line here. So my face is here. Now I have this much left for writing. So roughly 1/3 of the Lighboard is for you, and 2/3 for writing. This is not a hard and fast rule. For example, you could have a bit of writing in this space until we hit the border, the lower border. All right, so here I am, that's me. Now we're going to do some writing. Watch, I'm just going to write some math formulas. This is problematic in a number of ways. First of all, if I'm talking about these formulas, you can see what I said earlier is that my nose is in front of A, and that's not very nice. The other thing that's not very nice is even if I didn't have a lot of equations, it takes time to write stuff. Oh, I went too far down. You see, I went below the border, so I can't go really beyond about here, right? Because I'm losing this C. You can't even see where I'm circling. So I've taken all that time to write these equations, and I have to tell you that writing equations is like watching paint dry. Okay. Normally what we want to do is we want to highlight and annotate, not write. You can write at the most one equation. The rest has to be pre-done, either in software or you fill the screen first. And then you explain the equations that you've written or whatever text you want. So the writing stuff has to be not too much and done in advance. Finally, we need to look at color. So there are 4 pens. There's a yellow, green, orange, and finally we have pink. So there you can see it. You don't want to draw very long lines because you can see if you draw little bits, it's good, but then the ink kind of trails off. And of course, if you used black, you wouldn't see anything. So you have to be careful of your choice of color. Now, that's what we've done. We've looked at borders, we've looked at layout and writing, and not too much, and color. And that's your choice to create the artistic display that you want. A final word is instead of drawing, we could use software to project images, either through a direct projection of an image or PowerPoint or Beamer. We're now moving on from the preparation phase to the presentation phase. And as we saw before, there are 2 parts, 2 steps. The first step is presentation from the point of view of the presenter, and then the presentation in terms of the Lightboard. Let's begin with step 1, the presenter. One of the first things to notice when you're looking at a video is the posture of the presenter. We don't want you doing that, or staring at the floor like that. You know, my bald head isn't very pretty. So try to keep a natural posture and look forward to wherever the recording camera is. You don't want to be looking over there when you're talking. So that's, I think, pretty obvious. The other is voice. You want to talk naturally as if somebody is standing beside you and you're having a conversation. This is not a lecture. You don't want your voice to be too loud. So that's really all there is to it. You want to also speak clearly, enunciate your words, and again, speak to the camera as if somebody was standing there and you were naturally talking to them. Here's an example of using a different format for the graphics presentation. The PowerPoint or the Beamer, or whatever presenter you're using, is loaded into the computer that's controlling the graphic recording. So I'm not writing at all. And I've generated the equation that you see there using LaTeX and convert it to a PNG which is then imported with a green background that's keyed out. Now, this is great because I don't have to erase anything, and I can just click the mouse and to the next slide. So it saves time. You don't have to erase. And you see that you can include a graphical image. But because of the layout, my hand is behind the image. So if I want to point to it, I have to do this or from the side. This is different from traditional green screen because we are green screening out the background of the slide to make it transparent. In this case, turns out to be black, and the writing on the slide is white, and that's what you see up here. The nice thing is, for the equations, I'll just grab a pen. I grab my pen and I can do annotations, so I just have to line it up. And this is fantastic because you can emphasize certain parts of the slide. Now, of course, if you do that, then you will have to erase this. So you still have to erase any kind of writing that you do, but if your writing isn't too big, you can actually do it during the recording. Just like you're erasing a board, it's natural. That saves time in editing and in post-production. And post-production is, in fact, the final step in this instructional video. This brings us to the final segment of this instructional video. We've done presentation, and we've done production, and now post-production. So post-production is basically divided into two segments. The first is any editing that you have to do, and the second is file sharing and storing your files. So let's look at the editing first. One of the most important editing functions is to take two recordings and merge them together into one video, or more than two. And for that, you need a basic editor. So UBC has a license for Camtasia. There's other editors. There's iMovie. After we've recorded the video in studio and you want to grab it for editing, how do you grab it? Well, you can use a USB stick, or you can use a file share service. To wrap things up for this instructional video, what we've seen is preparation, presentation, production, and post-production. And in order to do all this, you have to have the big picture in mind. If you have any questions, you can contact the UBC studios at this email address. Or you can contact me. Thanks, everyone.